have a discussion class on a school magazine article. It's a new concept. This is the first time I'm taking this class. Although stage one, I'm going to say be very careful, be very attentive, ask me questions if you have any. Although I try to cover everything. And also at the end of the class today, I'm going to provide you a homework, a very short homework on reading main idea questions, paper 2. Hopefully, I will be able to explain it to you after the discussion. And another question I want to ask, did you get your mock papers checked? I'm talking about paper 1. Already I have completed checking. Okay, good. Hopefully next week, we are going to have the solution class. I will upload the lesson plan very shortly. The next month's lesson plan and also the month of December's lesson plan as well. Remember, December there will be regular classes. So hopefully lesson plan will be uploaded. Most probably by tonight, I will try to upload the lesson plan. Okay, so now everyone, we are going to move on to our main discussion. Since it's a school magazine article, it's a very important topic. So please, it's a discussion class. Camera is not needed, only attention is required. Now here, I'm going to share the screen of my computer at this moment. My goodness. Just 1 minute. Can you see the screen of my computer at this moment? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Very good. So now everyone, let's start.
Hello, my dear students. How are you? Today, I would like to welcome you to my another directed writing class. And today, our topic is school magazine article. And this is our first online class on the discussion of school magazine article. Now, since it's a directed writing class, so definitely for the first 10 minutes, I want to discuss about the theme or kind of the theories of a school magazine article or the technical aspects. Remember, this time be very attentive, my dear. Okay, as you know that directed writing has two parts of assessment. Always I talk about it. These two parts of assessment, you need to be very careful. It means that there are two categories. Your directed writing will be checked. The first category is task fulfillment, which is 15 marks. And the second category is language, which is also 15 marks. So in this way, there are total 30 marks in your directed writing. Here, your target score of 30 if you want to get an A star, and if you get minimum 24 out of 30, you will get an A. Okay, so I hope that you have understood your target score. Definitely for your O-level examination, your target score will be minimum 27 out of 30. Now let's talk about category number 1, that under this category your script will be checked at first by your language teacher or by your examiner. Now this is called task fulfillment. Task fulfillment contains 4 things. Now what are the 4 things? Number 1, purpose. Number 2, audience. Number 3, format. And number 4, the 3 bullet points. Remember, these 4 aspects you need to be very, very careful in the very beginning of your writing, because here there are total 15 marks. Clear? So let's talk about purpose. Remember, I always tell you that purpose, it varies from topic to topic. It depends on the topic, and based on the topic it changes. So today our topic is a school magazine article. So what should be our purpose, my dear students? Let's find out. What am I writing? That is the question. What am I writing? Every time whenever you are going to read the question, after reading the question, find out the purpose at first. If your purpose is wrong, it means your whole writing is wrong. So what am I writing? Remember, the purpose of a school magazine article is to inform. So this is number 1, purpose. Inform, reflect. So it's a kind of a reflective writing as well. So we are going to inform, we are going to reflect, and entertain. So this is 3. So there are 3 purposes of a school magazine article. And remember, all these 3 purposes should be reflected in your writing if you want to get good marks in your task fulfillment. Okay. Entertain the audience on an event. It means that you are going to describe, or you are going to reflect, you are going to narrate an event or a factual story or a message or information which you want to share to the audience, so that they can relate your story in their own life, draw a moral lesson from your story. And remember one thing, it has some common elements of a narrative essay. Yeah, my dear students, I'm sure right now you are going to ask me this question, that sir, narrative essay belongs to composition. How composition is related to our directed writing today? Yes, actually, I will say that narrative essay is slightly related to our school magazine article. In a school magazine article, it also looks like a narrative essay, almost. But there is a difference. The huge difference is the word limit. In narrative essay, you know, you are allowed to write 500 words. But remember, a school magazine article, it's a directed writing. You are allowed to write only 300 words. So that's the difference. So my dear students, be very careful about the word limit. Okay. Another thing I will say, that in narrative essay, there is no reflection. But in a school magazine article, there are some elements of a narrative essay, and also there is a reflection. As you can see that you are going to reflect, so that your audience can relate your story in their own life and draw a moral lesson from your story. Remember that. When your school magazine article will be loved by your audience, when your audience will be able to relate, after reading your article, they will be able to relate your story, and also they can draw a moral lesson from you, which they can apply in their real life. So remember, there are a lot of things you need to reflect. It's really a technical writing, I must say. Okay, so be very careful. Now let's talk about that, who are our audience? To whom am I writing? Your target audience is teenagers. So my dear, be very careful. We are very much specific here. Your target audience is teenagers whose age is between 13 to 19. Remember that. It means that school magazine article is only going to read by the teenagers, not any professors, not any adult person, only teenagers. So you have to satisfy your only the teenagers, and I'm sure that you can easily relate because you are also teenagers. So I'm sure as a teenager you can understand that what a teenager wants, what can be a teenager's aspiration, what can be a teenager's dream, and also the definition of a success, and how they can actually draw a moral lesson from your story. So remember that your job is very technical, but your job is quite easy, as I'm sure you can easily relate as a teenager. So this is our point, that school magazine article will be read by the teenagers whose age is 13 to 19. I hope you understood my point. Next, format should be correct. I always told you, if format is wrong, then the purpose will not be fulfilled. Now 3 bullet points. You know that always in every directed writing question there must be 3 bullet points. The first bullet point will be always descriptive, the second bullet point will be always descriptive, and the third bullet point will be always reflective, and the third bullet point is the most important bullet point. But here, for the first time in my directed writing class, I am going to say something right now. See here, the descriptive. These both descriptive should have narrative elements as well. Only for school magazine article, both of these descriptive paragraphs should be descriptive, also narrative. Remember that, as I told you before in the purpose, that it has some common elements of a narrative essay. Clear everyone, my dear students? So previously all the directed writing class, you have written the first 2 bullet points and out a descriptive paragraph, but today you are going to write it kind of a descriptive plus narrative, and the third bullet point should be reflective. So this is a really very technical aspect, my dear students. Most of the time my students, they actually make mistakes here. So this is the point. So be very careful.
Question, please, Farina.
Sir, could you please explain the narrative meaning?
Narrative meaning. Narrative essay. Farina, you didn't write narrative essay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so narrative essay. What are the elements of narrative essay? You have seen that there is a narrating of a story, right? So a school magazine article also will have the narrative essay elements. So hopefully when I'm going to check the samples, you will be able to see it. Okay, so right now just you have to remember that narrative essay elements will be there in your school magazine article. Here also you are going to develop a story. The story should be based on your life. And that's the thing, actually, I will say, and that's a drawback as well, because narrative essay, it's a huge writing, and in directed writing only you have 300 words limit. So that's the challenge, that you should not exceed the word limit here. Okay, so let's hope for the best and let's see the samples.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, now let's talk about language, another category, and for this category also you will be rewarded as 15 marks. Now here the first thing is register or the word choice. Remember, the words you will use should be relevant, and as you know that your target audience is teenagers, not the professor, so your word choice should be relevant for the teenagers. It means that you can use a little bit semi-informal language as well, little bit semi-formal language also, because you know that teenagers, they love this kind of language. Teenagers, they love trendy words. You may use it, but make sure that these words can be informal, these words can be formal or semi-formal. Do not use any non-standard form of English. I repeat, do not use any non-standard form of English just to please the teenagers, because that is not allowed in Cambridge. Okay, tone should be polite and formal. Yeah, it can be a little bit formal, it can be a little bit semi-formal as well, because a school magazine article is not absolutely formal, as you need to entertain the target audience. And whenever you are entertaining something, it means that it should not be 100% formal, because 100% formal writing is never entertaining. Okay, and here you have to entertain the teenagers, so definitely you need to think about it. Next, grammar should not, there should not be any grammatical mistakes. Then the sentence construction, which I always tell you that complex sentences should be 60%, simple sentences should be 30%, and compound sentences should be 10%. Okay, now the punctuation, try to use semicolon, colon, hyphen, and other than comma or full stop. I will say that in a school magazine article you are allowed to use those informal punctuation marks as well. Please, I'm going to say, use a variety of punctuation marks in your school magazine article if you want to score well. Next, a very important point, speech writing is a biased, subjective, reflective, or personal writing. I'm sure that you have already figured it out, that it's a biased, subjective, reflective, or a kind of a personal writing. You may use I for any personal comment or opinion. Remember that. Here you can provide your personal opinion, you can justify your opinion, as it's a kind of a narrative plus reflective kind of a writing. Okay, my dear students, so I hope that you have got my point. Next, avoid writing unnecessarily long sentences. It's my suggestion that please do not write long sentences. Sometimes these sentences end up having no meaning at all. Use transition words or linking devices. I'm sure that you are using that I sheet which I have given to you long ago. It's about the transition words or linking devices. You are going to use them between paragraphs and sentences to build connection or coherence, which is a very important words for us, means connection. Try to use more active and less passive voice. Yes, since it's a kind of a narrative reflective writing, I'm going to request you that please use more active voice so that it looks more conversational, as if you are talking to your fellow teenagers, and use less passive voice to make your writing semi-formal. Use good vocabulary. You need not use low frequency words, I will say, as you have to convey your messages to your audience easily. Should be relevant. Remember, this good vocabulary should be relevant and appropriate for the situation, and appropriate for the teenagers as well, which I might add. Next, do not exceed the word limit. Now this is a big challenge for writing a school magazine article, as a school magazine article has some similarities with narrative essay. So here the students, they tend to write more and more, and then at the end they exceed the word limit. So be very, very careful, my dear students. Minimum 280 words, maximum 300 words. Do not exceed the word limit. Okay, so here we are. I hope that you have understood already the theoretical discussion. I hope that you have understood. Remember, this theory you need to understand very carefully. Okay, so I hope you have understood the theory. Now let's go back to the another page. This page we are going to talk about a little bit about the techniques. Okay, little bit techniques, the technical aspects of a school magazine article. Let's see. Okay, here we are, the planning and organization. Let's see, my dear students, how to plan a school magazine article. Here we are, planning and organization. Now remember one thing, a school magazine article must have a title or headline. Remember that a title and a headline is a must, And remember, all the professional writers in the world, they actually follow this. They do not use to be verbs in the title or headline, my dear students. Remember, okay, they do not use any to be verbs. What are the to be verbs? To be verbs are like this: am, is, are, was, were. Please do not use these to be verbs in your headline. Remember, absolutely prohibited. Or all the professional writers in the world, they have already made a rule. I think this is a kind of an undecided rule that they don't use to be verbs, because they believe that if they use to be verbs, the title doesn't become dramatic. Remember?
Yes, question please, Ishmam.
Sir, the screen share isn't visible properly.
I think there is a kind of a network lagging from your side, most probably. Check your.
No, sir, it's fixed. Yes, sir.
Do you like make it bigger?
No, it cannot be zoomed, because it's a zoom and only this much screen you will be able to see. And don't worry about it. You have to just follow the lecture, because this handout you are going to get it at the end of the class. I want to know, what about others? Please try to look at the screen closely, because the screen cannot get bigger.
Title is the first attraction. You have to give a very catchy and short title. Do not use more than 6 words. I will say, do not use more than 6 words. You may use 1 or 2 or 3 catchy vocabulary to create your title. Next, there should be a byline. Here you can write your name, just written by your original name. You can use a fake name as well, no problem with that. Okay, now then you are going to give a 1-line gap, and there will be introduction. In the introduction, you are going to write a paragraph. Here you are going to state the topic of the article. Remember, always in the very first paragraph you are going to write the purpose of the article. Remember that. You have to follow the first bullet point here. And then the main body, here you can write 3 paragraphs. Here you are going to develop the topic, 3 bullet points given in the question paper in a separate paragraph with proper supporting details. It can be descriptive and also narrative. As I told you, there should be narrative elements. Okay, then the conclusion, the last paragraph you are going to summarize your main purpose by referring back to the points made in the main body and your reflections, so that young readers, especially young readers, I meant teenagers means the students who are below your age and also who are senior to you and who are in your age, the same age, can draw lessons from your experience. It's a reflective paragraph. So the last paragraph should be 100% reflective, my dear. Here you are going to share the lessons which you have learned from your experience, so that the other teenagers also can draw lessons from your experience. Okay, my dear students, I hope you understood the planning. Now let's see, there are some tips from the Cambridge examiners. What are the tips? I have already discussed. Just a few things I want to share here. Look at this. Tips number 1. Unlike police or newspaper reports, people do not read magazine or newsletter articles merely for facts or figures. Yeah, that's a very, very good point, I will say. Remember that you have written incident report, you have written eyewitness account. Over there you have seen that you have informed the audience. The audience was very matured and adult, audience. But remember, the teenagers, they don't want to read school magazine article for only facts or figures. They are not going to appreciate that. Definitely you are going to provide some facts and figures, but make sure that you are going to entertain them. They want entertainment. So here you need to cover the bullet points, not answering. It's covering the bullet points. Means facts and information should be there, but in an entertaining way. So when you are writing magazines or newsletters, you can appeal to your readers by writing about your feelings, and most importantly, letting the reader know the whole point of your narrative by the end of the article. So at the end, you are going to write the lessons you have learned from your experience, so that the teenagers, they appreciate, they can also relate, and they can draw a lesson from your story. Next, of course, you must know your target audience. So who are the people who will read your account or story? If you are writing for a school newsletter, you have to pitch your language and vocabulary at their level and not sound as though you are writing for a group of professors. So remember that I have already discussed about it. Get to the point quickly. In a longer narrative, you can develop the story by giving more background details before getting to the point of the story. However, in an account, of about 350 words. Remember that in Singapore they are allowed to write 350 words, but we are not. We are allowed to write only 300 words. Remember that. So that's why be very careful. Make sure that you are not exceeding the word limit. Here the writer is actually talking about that. Make sure that you are not actually kind of exceeding the word limit, because in essay writing you have 500 words, but on the other hand, in this school magazine article you have only 300 words. So please do not exceed the word limit. Do not exceed. Okay, so be very careful about it. That's why you need a very good planning. Okay, now I think we have already discussed about the technical aspects and also the theory. Now let's be practical. We are going to now check samples in front of you. So let's start. Okay everyone, so here we are right now. Look at this. There is a task number 1. This particular task came in Singapore few years back. Now let's see. Your class teacher has assigned each student in your class, including yourself, to observe someone at work. That can be, for example, E.G. It means, for example, in your father's office, in your school, on the street for half an hour. You are also expected to chat with the person briefly. The best writing will be chosen for the school yearbook. Write an article which should answer the following points. 3 points are given. Who the person is and how he looks like. His occupation and the people he or she comes into contact with. Remember here it should be descriptive plus narrative. Descriptive plus narrative. Remember that. So last, this is 100% reflective. What aspects you discovered about that person. So here this is the bullet point style which you need to follow. That both of the first 2 bullet points should be descriptive narrative, and the final one reflective. So here this is a sample. I'm going to request you, I'm going to give you 2 minutes of time. Please everyone just go through this sample silently. Your time starts now. Okay, my dear students, I hope that you have gone through the sample, and I'm sure that some of you are thinking that a very good vocabulary, very strong vocabulary this particular writer has. Yeah, this writer looks like a professional writer, but actually he isn't. He was just a common O-level candidate who was sitting for his O-level examination. Now look at the title. Only one thing I found out which is missing, and that is the name. I think the name has been also given later on. Here the title, the cobbler. Remember, title should be always like that. Title should be very short, to the point, and also use catchy vocabulary. Okay, now let's see. There are total 3 paragraphs. As I told you that always the Singaporean students, they prefer to write everything in 3 paragraphs. So let's see the 3 paragraphs. Look at the beginning. It's really dramatic. Rain or shine, he would be there. Then there is a hyphen. Did you see that? Another punctuation. So positive marking. Another punctuation. Different punctuation. A diminutive old man. Diminutive means a small size. Means he was a short old man with gray hair, squatting. Squat means he was kind of a sitting with one knee bent, most probably squatting on a stool. His body bending over his work table and groovy tools. Wow, that's really a vivid, so vivid, as if you can see that person in real life. You will find the cobbler busy at work at the Tampines bus interchange. I think it's the name of a bus interchange or place near the post office box. His face is a terrain of lines and folds. What a beautiful expression. Very, very vivid. When he smiles or grins also means smiling from year to year, which he does often when chatting with the customers. Deep ridges of wrinkles fan out from his eyes. So what an expression, what a verb, fan out from his eyes, and mouth to his hairline, his hands too appear to be in decline, thick veins, ambling means actually moving about on a scrawny flesh. Scrawny, what does it mean? Scrawny means unattractive, not attractive at all, very common, simple, flesh. I will say this is a perfect paragraph for any school magazine article. Just look at this, how vivid it is, how descriptive it is, as if that man was sitting in front of the writer and he was describing that man, just the way the bullet point said who the person is and how he looks like. Here the writer could provide the information of the person and also the person's appearance, but the writer did not do that. The writer here covered the bullet points with entertainment. Here the entertainment elements were there, and that's why it's a very good writing. That's why it's a very good paragraph for a school magazine article. Next, his work table is a brown wooden plank resting on a rectangular plastic receptacle. Receptacle, my dear students, it means a container. Please everyone, the new vocabulary, write the meaning on your notebook. Through the mesh netting of the container, one can discern the form of a shoe or two. Not surprisingly, mainly women patronize him. Patronize, what does it mean? Patronize, remember the word patronize has a different meaning. In our country, patronizing means helping or supporting, but in USA or UK, patronize has a different meaning. I hope you will understand. It means demean someone. It means demean someone. Yeah, when you try to demean someone, okay, as if he or she is an inferior to you, it means patronize. So please, my dear students, make sure that you have used any word by knowing the meaning, because patronize has different meaning in different culture. Okay, I hope you got it. Okay, now from the sloppily dressed housewives to the well-heeled career women. Okay, so the women mainly, they patronize him, they demean him. Women who dressed sloppily dressed housewives, from housewives to well-heeled career women. Okay, so there is a transition. Very good. Some of them would entrust their shoes to the old man, returning later to collect the mended goods. Others would sit on a small stool beside him, waiting to collect them on the spot, and meanwhile exchanging news with the old man while he knocks a broken heel into place or attaches a rubber piece to the sole. Wow. See, the writer is actually describing his work, his occupation, and the people he or she comes into contact with. And also he's saying here that all kinds of women, they basically demean him because his profession, they think that his profession is quite inferior. He's a very simple man, not attractive at all, and his work is very simple. So many people, especially women, think that he is very much inferior. Okay, when he's working alone without an audience to humor him, he seems oblivious. Oblivious means totally unaware. Totally unaware means he doesn't care to his surroundings. He would squint his eyes. Squint, I'm sure you have understood. Squint, kind of looking at him, looking at that particular thing with his eyes, as though they were failing him. Lift up the defective shoe against the light and then bend over it again, vigilantly continuing with the repair work. My dear students, excellent paragraph, without any mistake, without any grammatical mistake. I'm going to say, please check the students' sentence construction. Check the students' sentence construction. It's like perfect. There is not a single mistake. Just imagine the way he has connected the sentences, connected the paragraphs, the way he has constructed the sentence, constructed the web of words, and it's really engaging and vivid. Last paragraph, as I approach him, he flashes me a toothy smile, and now there is a direct speech. Are we allowed to use direct speech or kind of this kind of sentences with inverted comma? Yes, we are allowed. You can use some dialogues as well, not dialogues, basically his quotation, yeah, kind of a quote is allowed. I don't have shoes to repair. Can I just chat with you? Sure, he says cheerily. He is quite a sport, answering my every question readily. I have done since I was 16 years old, he says, brimming with pride. A bachelor, he lives alone in a 3-room flat. When the subject of marriage comes up, he quips. He quips. It's a new vocabulary. He quips. Too late now. I think he was regretting. Too late now. I thank him at the end of our little chat, realizing that it is his sunny nature which illuminates the somewhat gloomy spot he has established himself in. Undoubtedly, my dear students, it's an excellent piece of writing without any mistake. Can you find out any mistakes, my dear students? I don't think so. Perfect writing, written by a Singaporean student. Perfect writing, I will say. I wish you could write like that, but remember, it needs a lot of practice, years of practice, and then actually somebody can produce writing like that. Such a professional, such a vivid writing, I will say. So now I'm going to rub this place particularly so that we can discuss about his grade. So what do you think, my dear students, his grade? Definitely this student can actually get a very good grades. In task fulfillment, this student received 15 out of 15, undoubtedly. And language, the student received undoubtedly 15 out of 15. So total 30 out of 30, which is a perfect A star, my dear students. Sometimes in my class, some of my students, they ask me this question that, sir, is it possible to get full 30 out of 30 in O-level examination? So my dear students, I hope you got your answer. Yes, you can get 30 out of 30 if you can produce such a piece of vivid, excellent writing. Okay, my dear students, I hope you have understood and you have liked his writing. So I will say this writing is your role model from now on. Please try to write like that from now on. Okay, so now we are going for our second sample. Let's see. But I think after reading this kind of sample, I think no other sample would entertain us, I guess. So let's see. Next sample. This question came in our O-level examination, 2015 October-November session. What was the question? Recently, you and some other members of your class were chosen to take part in a festival. That's a very, very important topic, my dear, for your school exams as well. Your principal is very pleased and that you took part. He has asked you to write an article for your school magazine about what you did at the festival. Write your magazine article. You must include the following. There are 3 bullet points. Details of the festival and where it was held. So again, it's a narrative descriptive. What you and other students did at the festival. Again, narrative descriptive. And finally, why you feel taking part was a benefit to you and the other students and to your school. 100% it's a reflective. Cover all 3 points above in detail. You should make sure your article is lively and informative. Start your article with a suitable headline. So remember, most of the time they won't mention. It means that you have to use a headline. You must. So now this is the sample which was written by a Pakistani student. So I'm going to give you 2 minutes of time. Please start. Okay, my dear students, I hope that you have already gone through the sample. Yeah, this is a kind of a good sample, but not as good as the previous one. Okay, so here, what is the title? The title is An Extravaganza of Talent. Wow, it's a good title. I will say there are 4 words and there is a preposition and there is an article, but there is no to be verb. And now written by Amina Zabaid. Okay, so this is the name, the byline. Now here you can start. Let's see. Remember, this byline can be written at the end as well. Suppose at the end the writer could write written by and then the name. Okay, so I'm going to say byline can be written in the beginning and also at the end. No problem with that, just any one place, but make sure you are writing it, otherwise there will be -2. And if anyone doesn't write the title of the school magazine article, then -6. Remember that, so be very careful. Okay, so here the student has written 1 2 3 4 5 6 paragraphs. 6 paragraphs, I think it is redundant, unnecessary. So let's start. A myriad of opportunities. Wow, it's a good word. Myriad, many, right? Myriad of opportunities, activities, and exposure is what we experience at Beacon House Liberty Campus. Participating in the recently held colorful festival at Grammar School was another step towards being part of a similar platform to showcase our talents and be creative. It's a good introduction. Yeah, here the writer was preparing the audience for an entertainment. That's why information, this kind of entertaining elements is a must, a dramatic beginning. On the 16th of January 2016, see here the writer is providing information. Definitely information should be there, facts should be there, but not like the eyewitness account or incident report. It should be entertaining, as I told you. We arrived at the festival all geared up to bag some prizes. Ooh, the spectators, and of course to be enthralled. The festival had a range of categories to choose from, encompassing photography, performing arts, sciences, and general sciences. Okay, so here the writer is covering the first bullet point. He was giving the details, but it could be written better. Our team stole the show when our photography team won the hearts of the judges with their realistic and captivating pictures of ordinary people performing their tasks through the lens of their cameras. Wow, that's a nice one. The snapshot of a small boy enveloping an old man tightly around his waist while escorting him across the road with loving gentleness, emanating, it's a nice vocabulary. Emanating means coming out of, from the small features, bagged the first prize. Wow, the writer provided some information, but see, there are some entertaining sentences. Bagged the first prize. The melodious song that our team members sang left everyone mesmerized as well as inspired, as it focused on our social responsibility and what we owed to the society in general, especially in these testing times. In fact, it was declared the best song of the festival. Good. But I will say the paragraphs are very small. I think the writer should not have created so many paragraphs. I think here 3 to 4 paragraphs were enough. Okay. Next paragraph, I think it's very small, and that's why this paragraph is looking very odd, I will say. See, remember always your introduction and your conclusion paragraph should be smaller in size, and other paragraph should be equal size. But here it's missing. Here the connective devices are also missing. The paragraphs are not connected. Our dramatic team did not lag behind. The mime, I'm sure you know that. What is mime? It's kind of an acting that they presented depicting the eternal battle between good and evil and the triumph of good in the end, won us the first prize in this category. Okay, so the writer is providing some information that how did their team won the first award. Let's see the final paragraph. Overall, it was an enriching experience. See, here the writer is reflecting. Enriching experience which not only helped to exhibit our talents but also gave us the opportunity to interact with other students. Yeah, students from other culture, students from other country, right? Or students from other schools. Definitely, it further instill, nice word, instill in us. Wow, that's a nice word, instill. Please try to use this word, instill in us the pleasures of learning, creativity, and innovation. Furthermore, finally, there is a stylish linking device, but there is a comma mistake, so there is a punctuation error. After furthermore, there should be a comma always. Our school also earned an illustrious and praiseworthy recognition for the talented pool of students it cultivated. Moreover, wow, another one, moreover, comma. Moreover, after moreover also there will be a comma. We have also widened our circle of contact with other schools and will be receiving more invitations to such events in the future. Yeah, actually this is right. Whenever your school, you are joining any festival, definitely you get to know more school students, and that time, more people you can meet and you can get more invitation later on in future. The number of trophies that we bagged has boosted our self-confidence, and we are looking forward to participating in such events. Definitely, it's a nice paragraph. Sorry, my dear students, but there is a problem. I find out that this student exceeded the word limit. Yeah, since there is a narrative element, definitely the student, I will say tempted, student was tempted to write more, and that's why see 333 words. Definitely he will be penalized. So my dear students, what do you think about this particular sample? It's good, but not as good as the previous one. So let's check the mark. Task fulfillment, this student got 12 out of 15, and language definitely not more than 12 out of 15, so 24 out of 30. So it's an A graded sample. Okay, so this sample could be far better, I will say. Here the student could use more connective devices to connect the paragraphs, more vivid language. Here the language is not that much vivid. Some of the paragraphs are not even needed, I will say. So I will say these are the lacking. So my dear students, I hope that you are going to learn from these lackings, and you are not going to make this kind of mistakes in your writing. Okay, so see, so this is our discussion. I just want to show you that brilliant piece of writing which you have read today, and this is the first sample. This is a beauty, I will say. This is a piece of excellent of writing, I will say, ideal writing. Okay, so here we are, my dear students. Let's have a quick recap. Okay, this is the theory part which we have discussed today. So my dear students, I hope that today's discussion is effective and helpful for you to write a better school magazine article, because in your next class I'm going to take a test on school magazine article. So right now, if you have any question, you can ask me.
Okay, everyone, time to talk. Did you understand the concept?
Yes, sir.
Only one? Okay, good. Remember, this is not an easy topic actually. Right now here, I'm going to give you the handout. Any question you can ask me. Yes, I'm giving you the handout. This handout will be very helpful. Although it's a stage 1 handout, but still it will be helpful for you. So here goes the handout. Just 1 minute. Here goes the handout, and please revise the handout properly before the test, because next week we are going to have a test as well. Next class, next week, you know that there is a solution class. Okay, so did you get the handout? Did you get the handout? It's in the group chat. Okay, good. Now, everyone, I want to give you a very, very short homework on main idea questions. I'm talking about the fact, opinion, criticism. There are small 5 paragraphs, and some facts, opinion, and criticism are given. It's a great practice for you. Please do the homework. It's a 15 minutes job. Do the homework and send it to me by tonight. I will check and I will return by tonight. And what will happen in the next solution class, the mock solution class, which will be held next week, at first, we are going to discuss about this homework, and that will be a great practice. You will be able to do correction. If you have any confusion, definitely this confusion will be over, because this is a great practice work I have prepared for you. So make sure that you are doing it and you are sending it to me. You are sending it to me just on time, so that I can check and I can return as well. Okay. So now here goes the handout. Here goes the practice work, means the homework practice work. I'm uploading. Okay, it's uploaded. Did you get the homework? Okay, very good. So please do it and send it to me as soon as possible. It will be a great practice, because your school exam is approaching. So that's why I think this is the perfect time to do this. Okay. And this kind of homework, basically, I don't give many times. So once a month, most probably. And this is the beginning. Okay, everyone. So today, do you have any question on a school magazine article? Any question?
No, sir.
No. Okay, very good. It means that you have understood. But remember, today I have given you a sample, the sample which received 30 out of 30. So follow that sample. Remember, it takes years to be a good writer like that, to produce some writing like that. Okay. Remember, years of practice and conviction as well. So thank you so much for attending my class today. I will be waiting for your homework, and thank you. And I will see you in the next week, next class as well, for a school magazine article test. Bye, everyone. Take care. Good night.